I'm live. Sorry about the delay. I was taking care of some business I should have taken care of last week. Hi, Wilma. I hope your vacation is going well. Metal music. Hopefully, Miss Jamie will join us as well. I'm not sure what her schedule is. Like I said, she's still having some phone issues. So, yeah. I'm good. I'm good. A little tired, been busy. We built our kitchen island this past week, and that took a little bit out of me. My husband and I worked together to do it, and we both are older, so we both have issues. So my brilliant idea was to put it together ourselves, which was not difficult. I'm just paying for it a little bit, just a little bit, not too bad. We are in Ohio. He got us internet. Awesome. Awesome. That's so great. I hope everything's going well for you in Ohio. Um, and I took all my medicine. I'm just moving a little slow. I got a second cup of coffee. We're getting ready to remodel our master in Florida. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad we did what we could do because we saved a lot of money on the island. We really did. Hi Emily. How are you doing today? But yeah, I'm paying for it just a little bit. I don't regret it, not one bit. We love it. It's awesome. And we just had to do a little bit of work. Wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Hi Joe. How you feeling, Joe? How's your did you think it was the flu maybe or something? How you doing? Because I am wanting to do that live panel again, and I'm gonna wait till you're feeling better. And I know you and Trish were live yesterday. Hi, Jamie. And I missed it because we had to go run errands. My husband gets off work around 2, and then we had errands to run. So I apologize for missing that. I really wanted to watch you guys. I really did. So if you do more, I'm going to do my best to make it. I've seen some cousins and a bunch of friends and our Amish family. All the little are growing so fast. Wilma said, yes, don't they grow so fast? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I have some little grandbabies that are she just started kindergarten. I'm like, she was just born last year. It seems like. I had a random viral infection. They said, I'm still a little weak, but pretty good. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I was telling Wilma, I'm just a little tired. We got our kitchen island finally put together. My husband and I, we bought everything from IKEA. Our regular kitchens from IKEA, but we had their installers install it. But the island, I was like, we can do it ourselves. We can, and we did. We did. So I'm thinking of doing the live. When Miss Jamie, do you know when you might be getting your phone back? Because I want to include you in the chronic pain live. You, Joe, my sister, and if we can get Joe, she was in our last one. Why I see her on Instagram all the time. Why can I not remember her name? Oh, I follow her. I'm tired. Sorry, guys. But yeah, everybody that was on last time, plus I'd like to add Miss Jamie if we can. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 2 hours instead of an hour and a half because it seemed like we needed more time. So the baby is not a baby anymore. I got to hold him this year and right up in my lap and move. Hey, hobbyist, how you doing? So good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. How are your girls? I was off YouTube for most of the summer. So, yes, I'm talking about Jen. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, she was talking with us about chronic pain as well. And like I said, I follow her. What is my problem? Oh, hobbyist is at lunch. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful lunch. And did I say, how are your girls doing? Oh, I need to start watching your channel again some more. I haven't been on YouTube. I've been either depressed or busy. Isn't that funny how you got those two things can happen at the same time? Yeah. Fair week here. Oh, I bet they love that. Good thing about kitchen islands is it's big enough, can add a battery bank to it to power up outlets and USB ports in an emergency. Oh, I never thought of that, metal music. I'm gonna have to look into that. Because who does not want an extra power when the stuff goes out? Not sure, but I can do it on this phone. I will figure out how to get on my other account. Um, Hubby said they are growing. Yes. Yes, his beautiful daughters. Beautiful daughters. Um, let's see. So Miss Jamie, are they not getting you your phone repaired? Or are they not getting you a new phone or not sure, but okay. So to last week we were talking about skin picking, which is a BFRB. And so this week I thought we'll touch on that a little bit, but we're thinking of getting a generator for our cabin. Yeah, that's a great idea. One is about to be a teen. Oh no, hobbyist. Teenage girls. I will pray for you, sir. Ah. Yes, yes. But that's a great idea, Wilma. That's a great idea. So, so are they still into the what cards was it? Was it Pokemon cards? I think it was. I should just watch your videos to get caught up. So tornadoes and microbursts hit here often. Oh no, Wilma. Yeah. This weather has been crazy. Are you guys getting a lot of this crazy weather? Oh, it finally calmed down for us, but we had a good couple weeks of severe thunderstorms, tornadoes in Michigan. Right. As they get older, they stop with those cool things, don't they? They'll come back to it. They will, because I did. So, yeah. Mm. Um, Send the microburst this way. We need the rain. Are you in a drought? See, you're either in a drought or you're, you know, yeah, or you're in a tornado. That's what it is. Wilma says I'll send them to you, Metal Music. What's wrong with it? Isn't covered by the insurance, so it'll cost quite a bit to fix. Oh no, Jamie. Oh no. Okay. So I will message you after this because you did message me on Instagram. I will message you. Thank you, hobbyist. You have a great day too. Why wasn't it covered by the insurance? That doesn't make any sense. Did they not get insurance for your phone? Mm. It must be really, really serious, whatever is wrong with it. So mine is all correct, still works. Jamie has a Samsung, the one that folds out to the big screen. I have an iPhone. Um, but I'll text you. I have an old iPhone. I might go ahead and send it to you. And then, like I was saying, I don't know if you got my Instagram message, but I would no longer pay your phone bill if they're not going to get it fixed. And why it's not covered by insurance? They didn't pay for the insurance to cover your phone. Is the only reason I can think of is why it's not covered by insurance. Oh, see, the new fancy ones are not always the best, but I have a old iPhone I can send you, and then you could maybe turn it on at one of those, like pay as you go or something like that. Um, and I know that won't help you get into your old account, but it will help you with the internet. At least it's a 7 and it works really well. I used it before I got this 11. So, yeah. So I will text you. Because I was going to turn it in, but I don't even want a phone. Hubby tells me to keep it for safety, Wilma. I think it's for safety, and he's concerned about your safety. So that was the only reason that I originally got a cell phone was for safety back in the day, back in the day. When they had the little peanut looking phones. It has insurance, but it doesn't cover it. It covers manufacturer defects. So, did you drop it? Is that what happened? Some of my friends don't have a phone, they can't afford it. Wilma, yeah. Now in Michigan, I'm not sure about federally, but in Michigan, if you are of a lower income, you can get a free cell phone and it has so many minutes per month. So if you just use it for emergencies, you're covered. But if you actually use it as a cell phone, you have to purchase more minutes on it. But my brother-in-law has one, and it's a godsend when you don't have very much income, and it's for emergencies. And then, like I said, he can add minutes if he wants to, that kind of thing. But that's in the state of Michigan. I know a lot of states don't have as good of even though a lot of people voted for Trump in this state several years ago, it's really a blue collar state. And we try to take care of our seniors and our disabled here, at least. I don't want to be political, but we do try to do that in Michigan. So, okay. So, what we're supposed to be talking about is BFRBs. Last week here in Ohio, they barely get to play bingo. That's what we're get together and get to spend time with the priest, Father Tim, and his dad, my daddy, Don. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, community, you will, like you said, you do get together to play bingo. So it's a community. That would be very helpful. I can't thank you enough. I don't know. The inside screen went bad first, then the outside screen went bad. They're saying it's my fault, but I don't think so. Huh. Mm. Yeah. Mm. I wish you lived in Indiana. I could come and look at your phone. So it sounds like a manufacturer's defect, is what it sounds like. You haven't had it for a year. So, yeah. Um, and what I was going to tell you is even though you're on their plan, you should be able to go to a local if they make it so that you can access the plan or take them on the phone with you to the local, whatever, T-Mobile, Sprint, whatever it is, and then tell them what happened and try and get it fixed that way. Because like Julie lives in Ohio, my daughter, Julie lives in Ohio, and she can take the phone with her with me on the phone and I can give them permission to do whatever and they will fix her phone. Yeah, Joe wants to know who your carrier is. Yes, we support each other and made promises. Yeah. Yeah. Wilma, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're enjoying your time there. But I was saying we're supposed to be talking about BFRBs. Those are body focused repetitive disorders. And last week we talked about skin picking, which is a body focused repetitive disorder. So the way that it's categorized, like medically, psychologically, is OCD is the generality. We're waiting on our guy to bring us water today. Amelia gave permission, but they're saying $429 to fix it. AT&T. Okay. I'm not there with you, or I could go and yell at them. I'm sorry, Jamie. I'll poke them in the eye. I'll poke them in the eye and say, "You fix this phone now." And you did not ruin that screen. That is a manufacturer defect. You haven't even had it a year. It should be under warranty. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Love you too. Love you too. We're gonna get that fixed so we can do our chronic pain panel. Okay, so what I was saying. Okay, so in the mental health breakdown, okay. Skin picking, which is something that I do that I have, falls under BFRBs, a body focus repetitive disorder, which then falls under um OCD. So the generality is OCD, and what happens is then you break it down into different categories that way. That's why you can't just say I have OCD. There are tons of different types. And then that breaks it down again into different types of BFRBs. And there are other OCDs besides BFRBs, other categories. So it's just over a year. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I might call the company. Something's not right. So that doesn't seem to be, I don't think that's your problem. I really don't. That sounds like a manufacturer defect. And like I said, I would go poke them in the eye, but I'm not there. So you may want to press the issue. Okay. So that's how it breaks down in the mental health. It's, I don't know if it's in that book that we were talking about, the DCM-5, but um that's the breakdown. I was watching the new season of Glow Up and a girl did a look about her skin picking. Oh, I haven't seen that yet. That came on. Oh, I'm going to have to watch that today. We have to mow the lawn and do the yard work. My OCD is mainly erythromania. Okay, Joe. Yeah. See, there are different types of OCDs, and then even under those types are different breakdowns of those types. So if you get a really good doctor, they're going to help you, come down. They're not just going to say you have OCD. You're going to get a breakdown because that's different treatments. The more specific you get, and I know we're not supposed to be our diagnosis, but the more specific you get with your diagnosis, the better treatment you will get for your whatever issue is going on. So I am going to watch that, Jimmy, because Friday is my last day of Netflix. So I'm going to be watching that tonight and tomorrow. So yes, I saw that it was starting Tuesday, and I was just watching a brand new show yesterday, and I should have watched Glow Up. Huh. And it's the whole season too, right? But thank you for that, Joe. Thank you for that information. So mm, and if you wanted to um arithmomania, did you feel like explaining what that is in the chat? Because I'm not sure what that is, but I can always look it up. So arithmomania. So what we talked about last week, like I said, was skin picking. So that's awesome, Jamie, that they did address that in Glow Up, because a lot of people cover that with makeup. That's one of the ways that people deal with it as well. Mine is counting. Okay. I got you, Joe. I count things too, but I don't think I would classify under there. I enjoy numbers. Math relaxes me. I know that's weird, but I will count things as a coping mechanism with stress to relax. So, yes, and I binge watched the whole season. I wish Glow Up would come to the USA. Me too. I don't know if I would qualify, but I would love to. I think that that's what we should do for our slumber parties is take those ideas when you get your phone fixed, and we can do slumber parties. Take those ideas and do our do challenges on our slumber party nights. I'm thinking that that would be so fun, and we should just use all the ones from this season, and I'm going to write them all down so we can do that. I count wildlife when we're out. Oh, that's cool. But yes, Glow Up is so cool. It's on Netflix. It's a makeup artist competition. They do all the prosthetics and all the cool stuff. And I always want to enter the Mayron competition that's out every Halloween. I'm going to try to do it this year, but I need to purchase a few things, and my funds are, you know, you know, my funds are what they are. And I'm not going to purchase that stuff when other more important things need to be purchased. But if I can, I'm gonna, because I got an idea. I'm not gonna tell anybody because it's a secret, but I have an idea. So I'm on my second cup of coffee, so I am talking. I did take my medicine. The tired must be gone now. Um, and I find that numbers soothe me for some reason. I know a lot of people don't like math, but I have always been good at math. Not so good at spelling and English, but always been good at math, so I enjoy it. My hubby helps me get goth makeup even though he doesn't care for it. Oh, Wilma, that's so sweet. That's a good husband right there. That's a good husband. So yes, yeah, that was an idea since Miss Jamie and I haven't been able to really talk. But I will give you, you probably don't have my phone number, but that's your mom's phone. So I wish love to do that first. Okay. Yeah, so that is definitely on the table. So I'll be watching over the next 2 days. Love Glow Up. If you're any kind of a makeup, prosthetics, creative, even they just do regular makeup as well. But the judges are tough, 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 tough. It's an awesome show to watch. So okay, so we're talking about BFRBs. We talked about skin picking, and then as Joe brought up the counting OCD erythmomania, which is very interesting. Thank you for that information, Joe. Um, so BFRBs stand for body focused repetitive disorders. Let's see if I can, yeah. Okay, let's get the better one where you guys can see more. So right here we have what is a BFRB? Body focused repetitive behaviors, not disorder behaviors, include any repetitive self grooming behavior that involves biting, pulling, picking, or scraping one's own hair, skin, lips, cheeks, or nails that can lead to physical damage to the body and have been met with multiple attempts to stop or decrease the behavior. Okay. Let's see. Common BFRBs include hair pulling disorder, skin picking disorder, nail biting disorder, and then you can click on these individually. You see the website is called the TLC Foundation. They're specifically about the body focused repetitive disorders, not the OCD, but the specific BFRBs. Cheek biting, other BFRBs frequently include cheek and lip biting, nail picking, scab eating, and other self grooming related behaviors. Now, that one I did not know. What causes BFRBs? They are among the most poorly understood, underdiagnosed, and untreated group of mental health disorders. Research suggests that causes of BFRBs include improving or correcting imperfection in physical appearance, in addition to self-regulation of intense emotions. Several studies have shown a higher number of BFRBs in immediate family members of persons with skin picking or hair pulling that would be expected in the general populations. BFRBs are not self-harm. It says read more. Let's see where it goes. However, even if a predisposition towards BFRBs is inherited, there are other factors involved as well, including temperament, age of onset, and environmental stress factors. More than likely, BFRBs are caused by a variety of factors that interact with each other, resulting in the behavior. I agree with that, a variety of factors, because mine gets worse with anxiety. So, um, yeah, Wilma, I do too, especially if my anxiety's high. We're best friends. best friends are besties. No, metal music. Now that could still be it, but for our purposes, it is body focused repetitive behaviors. So they do usually include various symptoms because like I said, when my anxiety's high, I am worse at controlling it. Now when it's not high, I can control myself for the most part. Like I had a new breakout, but I put one of those tabs on it yesterday, and so I'm consciously reminding myself not to pick at that. And I do need to put another sticker on today because they don't stay on. But those stickers, Wilma, they're called hydrocolloidal patches or pimple patches, and you put them on the spot. They're made in different sizes, and sometimes you can get big ones and cut them down, but they stick to your skin. So you put them right over the sore. So what happens is when you go to scratch it, you'll feel the patch instead of picking. You'll go, oh, that's it's like a prompt to tell yourself to not do it. And it also protects it from your fingers. Because like I was saying last year, I have little razor blades for nails. They're so sharp. And so they're the perfect tools for skin picking. Um, so there is that. Okay. I like the start. Yes, they have them in all different shapes. They do. I just use the clear ones because if I'm out in public, you know, and sometimes I don't just have one. One is cute, but sometimes if I'm really bad picking, I'll have like 3 or 4 on. So I don't need all that. I'm left-handed, so I find myself picking my right arm. Yeah, because my left arm is worse than my right arm, and that's because I'm right-handed. Yeah. Like I've shown you guys, it looks like freckles, but it's a lot of scarring on there. And also, I didn't use enough sunscreen this year, so they're darker. So, yeah. And so, let's see. What was I saying? Okay, so there are other factors in that. Like I've always like picked pimples, like people do that. And I've had control, but when my anxiety gets bad, my mind just races and my fingers, I have for some reason the connection between my brain and my hands doesn't work as well. I don't know what that is, but I'll start just doing this. And if I feel a bump, I'll scratch it. If I have a sore that's big, I'll still pick at it. And then once I gain consciousness again, once I start bleeding, that's when I start noticing it. And that is the worst, especially if you're in public. It's definitely frowned upon, right? Socially, but also it's embarrassing. I write and use both hands, Wilma said. Oh, so you have activity. Well, I use both hands as far as scratching my face. So, but yeah, that's even worse if you're use both hands. So, so let's go back to the screen over here and see. Um, okay. Okay, it's possible a person has predisposition to pull or pick and the right stressor does not happen at the right time. So the behavior never manifests. Conversely, when a person starts experiencing BFRB, it's not helpful to blame any one aspect of the person's life that is happening at that time, but one might assume that the behavior most likely would have come to light at some point in the person's life. One interesting point is that other species engage in similar behaviors. Primates such as great apes or certain types of monkeys will pull hair, overgroom, and pick at nits and insects on their own fur and the fur of others. Birds will pull out their feathers. Mice will pull fur or barber themselves and their cage mates. Dogs and cats may lick the skin or bite at the areas, remove fur until they are bald spots. Researchers interested in animal models of BFRBs are trying to understand these behaviors in order to shed light on the complex neurobiology that underlies the human experience of BFRBs. What these animal studies tell us is that BFRBs are likely in part hardwired behaviors that are not solely the result of environmental factors. And we'll go back to the other page. But I do agree with that it is more than one factor, because mine didn't get really, really bad until, like I said, I was in a job that I hated. And so there was a lot of stress there. There was management issues. I want to say bullying, but people say you're not bullied, but I was bullied. And there I was very unhappy. Then what happened is my father passed away, and then that caused out of control. Like, normally I could control it normally, but that's when it became out of control. I want to say 2016. And I just went to town, large wounds on my face, and I don't normally do that. Even now I'm good at catching myself. I mean, they still get a little out of hand, but not like at that time. At that time it was bad. Oh, Joe. Yeah. And then that's why mental health is so complicated, though, because you can say some things are in your DNA, some things are environmental, but like you said, your OCD didn't happen until you became disabled. So someone who's born with it, it's still OCD. Someone who ends up having it later in life, I that's the thing. There's no rules with mental health. It comes when it's going to come, and judging people who have it is that's why you shouldn't do that, because you never know when it might happen to you. You don't know, because there are no rules. Like they say that schizophrenia shows up in your 20s. Well, some people pass with it for a very long time. Or bipolar disorder is supposed to show up in your late teens, early 20s as well. Some people you don't know until something happens and they can't control it, and then it all comes out. So they're guidelines to diagnose things, but they're not 100%. And so so I totally understand what you're saying, Joe. It really varies. Everyone's situation is so different. That's why I want to do the panel with several different people who have different experiences. I'm gonna get my sister to come too. And because she said she would. I don't know if she'll show her face. She's pretty like me. I don't know why she doesn't, but so I'm gonna get her to come too, so we can talk about that. So I think it's gonna be a longer conversation when we do that. I may not put any limit on it as well, because we still had so much more to talk about. So maybe 2 hours is plenty for that. I don't know. We'll discuss. We'll discuss what everybody's feeling at that time. But everyone's experience is different. The topic is chronic pain, but none of us have the same experiences. None of us do. That's why things are difficult to diagnose. All right, Wilma, no worries. I have bad OCD after being a nurse, seeing things I didn't know about. Okay. And you know that OCD means obsessive compulsive disorder. Um, Bipolar and OCD run in my family, yep, but mine didn't appear until I was disabled. Doctors said it could be genetic, or it could have been triggered by my mental health changes once disabled. That is true, because mental illness is definitely a chemical change in your brain. There's a normal, and I don't want to say normal, a non injured or non traumatized brain works a certain way. But once you introduce trauma of any type, disability, accidents, surgeries, things like that, your brain chemicals can change. And just with time, your brain chemicals can change. because I try to look back and I see some of the signs that I had anxiety when I was younger, but they weren't severe like they are now. So, somewhere along that line, even though it was in my genes, my brain chemistry changed from trauma. Um, and I want to say it's PTSD from my job of 20 years. So, yeah, in my family, there's anxiety and depression. And the skin picking is, like I said, it is common through all my brothers, and my brother and my sisters all have it. So I know my mom has some form of it. And I really don't remember my dad. I didn't see my dad. He worked a lot when I was younger. So I really don't know if he had anything like that. And of course, he was from down south and older and didn't talk about those kind of things. He drank beer and worked. So, but yeah, and it could be both. It could have been genetic, but not triggered until you became disabled. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I've always had the anxiety and depression, just like a regular amount, and then things trigger it. Traumas trigger in your brain, and it changes your brain chemistry, and then you have difficulty dealing with things. Also, coping mechanisms. I was not taught a lot of coping mechanisms when I was younger. So now I try to instill in my younger nieces, nephews, my granddaughter, Julie, my daughter, I try to instill mental health ideals with coping mechanisms so that those things don't get out of control for them. So that was one thing I think our generation didn't know what coping mechanisms were. We really didn't. The word wasn't even in existence back then, as far as I know. And now I realize I had coping mechanisms, they just were detrimental. I had to learn healthy coping mechanisms. So I tried to share the wealth with my family about coping mechanisms they can use that are good, that they can use now that they're younger so that they don't have the trouble when they're older. Yes, the way I wash my hands, even though I didn't touch anything, and the routine of how I do it, it's hard to explain. Okay, Jamie. So you may have the I'm not sure what it's called, but I'm thinking something along the lines of germaphobe type of OCD. So yeah. We've talked about that before. We're hand washers. Yes, Jamie, I have excessive hand wash also during COVID. My hands stayed sore from it. No matter what anyone said, I couldn't stop. Yep, Joe. Yep. Yep. So I definitely wrote that down, Joe, and we're going to talk about that too someday. Not today, but so do you have any questions about how the OCD breaks down into the BFRBs and there are other things under that umbrella of OCD, not just BFRBs, and then how that additionally breaks down into skin picking, nail biting, and then each of those have, like we said, nail biting was onychophagia, and then hi Brandy, how are you doing? I have the skin picking is dermatillomania, the hair pulling is trichotillomania. All those are Latin words. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and we'll talk about those too. So I just wanted to kind of explain how it kind of goes down like this. So under body focus repetitive disorders, we've already talked about skin picking. So now that we know what BFRBs are, let's see. I really like this TLC website for this too. Myths and misconceptions about BFRBs. Okay. Now, there's one thing that I found that I thought was very interesting, and you guys might be interested in too. Listing things to Poshmark today. Hi, Anvita. How are you? I'm so glad I got to contact you and talk with you on Instagram. I'm sorry it took forever. Yeah, I are the best intentions are I don't know. I have the best intentions. They just don't always work out. So glad you're here. And we're talking about body focus repetitive behaviors, BFRBs. And let me put this screen up again because I wanted to talk about the different types of, okay, right here, myths and misconceptions about BFRBs. Let's see. Myth: BFRBs are OCD. BFRBs are often described as a cousin to OCD, but there are enough differences between the two that they are treated differently. Currently, hair pulling and skip picking are classified as obsessive compulsive and related disorder in the Diagnostics and Statistical Manuals of Mental Health, DSM-5, 5th edition. And that's what we've talked about before. BFRBs are not self-harm. They are not rare. They are not caused by trauma. Let's see. Cheek biting, nail biting, we're definitely going to talk about. And the hair pulling we'll also talk about too. So let's go to this other page. Okay, so how common are BFRBs? They are 1 or 2% of the population, which if you think about billions, that means that if there's 1 billion, then there's 1, 2, 3. 1% of a billion is like, I want to say a million. So that's a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. There are quite a few. And they're called body focused repetitive behaviors. This website is very good. It's called TLC, and they talk about different behaviors. So let's see. Let's go with stop screen, and then we're going to go to the next one. What I found is there are some articles that talk about children, BFRBs in children, and some things that they go hand in hand with that might surprise you. It really surprised me. So this website is called Kids. Let's see. Smart Kids with Learning Disabilities. Is this behavior related to ADHD or OCD? At a glance, we look at 2 behaviors that might be related to either disorder. Understanding the behavior behind the behavior is fundamental to receiving an accurate diagnosis and appropriate treatment. The OCD spectrum includes a number of related disorders. We already talked about that, including hoarding, specific body focus repetitive behaviors, BFRBs, Tourette syndrome, which is impulse vocal utterances, a body dysmorphic disorder, BDD, leading to repetitive and unrealistic grooming and checking behaviors. Typically, the behaviors associated with this disorder assumed to be related to OCD. A clinical psychologist specializing in ADHD and OCD explains how 2 of them, hoarding and BFRB, can coexist with either OCD or ADHD. The behaviors themselves look similar in kids with either condition. Hoarding is hoarding, but the motivation underlying the behavior is different. So, BFRBs can, 1 in 20. Okay. Hey, Frugal Mama, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. So, children with ADHD can also be diagnosed with BFRBs. I did not know that they went kind of hand in hand, because ADHD is what did they say? I didn't want to read the whole thing. So 1 in 20 people have BFRBs. I want to get down to the part that I saw earlier. So let's see if I scroll down. It says body focused repetitive behaviors here are chronic and excessive self-grooming actions. Okay, BFRBs compromise a variety of behaviors. Although kids repeatedly try to stop or reduce BFRD. They feel compelled to continue. Sometimes they pick or bite in an intentional manner, giving a sense of deep pleasure, good pain, or relief from their actions. Other times they may be distracted, unaware they're even pulling on their hair or sucking on their cheeks. It BFRB impacts kids' life in troubling ways. Scarring, bald spots. We've already talked about all of this. This all pertains to kids as well. ADHD related BFRBs. This is the part that is very surprising to me. I am leaving shortly to meet my mom at Bosco's to get an outfit for my niece's wedding, but I'll be listening while I drive. Okay, Jamie. So I did not know, and that's why I do these, because then I can research and find things that I don't know about, that ADHD can be related to BFRBs. Um, so, and I don't have anyone in my family who was diagnosed with ADHD or ADD either. I'm not sure what the whole terminology is right now. And I have never been tested, but um, you have seen me on these lives, and I do have trouble concentrating. Sometimes I get distracted by a dog walking by, or because the window's that way, or my husband coming home. He's already home, so I didn't get distracted by that. Um, so I did not realize that these things kind of go together. I didn't realize that, especially in kids, until I put something into Google and then this came up. And I believe this website is Smart Kids with ID, or with says smartkidswithid.org. So I want to say that this is a pretty good website. And let's get back to that paragraph. When I was searching, this is what I found. Olivardi, which is the doctor, stresses that although BFRBs are often part of the constellation of OCD symptoms, many kids with these behaviors do not have OCD, but ADHD. It may start with a child being distracted by a pimple or an uneven fingernail, he explains. And that is another thing that I do. Uneven fingernails bother me. Control the urges and stop themselves. They're able to control the urges and stop themselves. But kids with ADHD have poor impulse control. They start squeezing or picking to rid themselves of the distraction and persist. Although they see that they're scarring their skin, they just can't stop. For kids with ADHD, the main function of these sensory-based behaviors is to provide forms of stimulation and arousal. For example, BFRBs serve as a way for dopamine deficient ADHD brains to get little dopamine hits for motivation and focus. The behavior helps kids feel more present and grounded, like a fidget toy, but with the body serving as the fidget. Now, I think I talked about this before, that scientifically, any of these skin picking, chewing, pulling, they do release dopamine when you do it. So it does give you, scientifically, you do release dopamine in your brain when you pick your skin. Now, why that is, I have no idea. Or pull or bite or whatever it is you're doing, for some reason, it does release that. And so you do feel a chemical reaction basically in your brain. So, and like they said, that kids with ADHD have impulse control, and sometimes this is an impulse control issue. So, I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize that. And just if you have a child who perhaps has ADHD, the next article is also going to include autism, which I'm not exactly sure about that one, but this one, the kids.org, what I said, this website is smartkidswithid.org. So it's kids with disabilities, any type they discuss. I really enjoyed this article, and I think that it's a good one to check out. So but if you have children or no children with that, that's something that you might want to be aware of. And also, if you yourself, when you were a child, had any of those symptoms, that may help you with any diagnosis you have as well. Let's see. This one is no, no, that was the only one. This one doesn't talk about the ADHD or the autism. The other article I found, though, was speaking of autism. And I did not save that one for some reason. But yeah, so it's important for us to watch our grandkids, kids, nieces, and nephews. And, you know, like I said, coping mechanisms. Let's give them those really good coping mechanisms that we have. Let's see. The other article is a personal article. And let's see. I was going to read that if you guys were interested in it, but I thought you might want to just chat some more. So it is something that happens in kids, and it's often misdiagnosed. Let's see. BFRBs also operate as concrete goal-oriented activities to produce a feeling of success. That pulling out a straggly piece of hair, for instance, achieves a goal that can be reinforced for kids who don't often feel a sense of accomplishment. Furthermore, they help relieve stress, hyper-focusing on picking their skin, pulling, eating their hair, or chewing their nails. Cheeks can send kids with ADHD into a trance to escape from feeling overwhelmed by a day of executive demands. This article is based on an ADD Etude webinar. What you should know, related smart kids topics, understanding OCD. Is it ADHD, OCD, or both? So I really do like this website so far. I can't remember where the other article was from. So, and what year was this? I don't like it when they don't put what year, because you want to make sure that you're reading something that is current, you know. Oops. Let's see. I have a friend that's husband kept saying nothing different with his stepson, but the mom knew there was. She finally took the child on her own, and he had ADHD and hair pulling. Okay, Joe. Yep. He is doing much better now, and she is divorcing that. I'm glad he's doing much better, and I'm glad she's divorcing that a-hole, because and Vita, this is prevalent in children and adults. So when they say 1 in 20, they mean 1 in 20, including children and adults. So Jaron is ADHD. Do you notice, does he have any of those body focus? Not that he would, it's just that they do go hand in hand. So yeah, Joe, that's an excellent story. And then that's the thing. I think that's old thinking, is that nothing's wrong. And now yes, that is quite high. It is. It's more common than you think. And when I was younger, you would just get, stop doing it. Just stop doing it. And it's not that easy, and Vita. It's much more difficult than that. If you really have the diagnosis of BFRBs. Now, regular people who don't have that, might pick a spot and then that's it. But those of us that have the body focus repetitive disorders, I have the dermatillomania, that I do it unconsciously. I don't even know I'm doing it until I look at my hands and I'm bleeding. And that's when my anxiety is very, very high. But yes, it does happen more often than you think. The issue should get more attention from the medical. Yes, it should, and it doesn't. And that was in one of the articles we read earlier. It's very underdiagnosed, because if you get a doctor who's older who doesn't keep up to date on things, or doesn't listen to you when you talk to them, they're going to say, "Oh, it's just a kid thing. They'll get over it," you know. But when it comes to scarring your face, especially if you're a child, that is going to be a long-lasting effect, and you want to make sure that that gets taken care of. And or bald patches pulling so much that you end up with a bald patch, because after you damage that skin so much, it's not going to grow hair anymore. Um, so things like that are important to notice. And again, our doctors just don't. Some of our doctors just don't. They just don't think about it. No, but things like coffee does the opposite for him. Okay, Jamie. Yeah, that's why they put kids with ADHD on. I was just watching on Netflix. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Adderall. That isn't what is that? It's a stimulant. And people take it who don't have ADHD, and it gives them a high or a more concentration. But someone with ADHD, it just helps them to focus. So yeah, so it does the opposite for him. When I was young, everything was just walk it off mentally. Yes, thankfully, mental health is taking more serious. Don't get me wrong, mental health care still has a long way to go. Yes, I agree, Joe. And since COVID, it's being taken more seriously. Um, Especially with the millennial generation. Now, it's sometimes it's overdoing it a little bit, like I can't go to work because I'm depressed. Well, I went to work for 20 years depressed and anxious. So you can still function. It may not be enjoyable, but you can still function. So um, a lot of people think it's being used as an excuse, and that is also causing a stigma around mental health. So the people that truly need the help sometimes are getting, "Oh, you're fine, just get over it," but that's not the case with someone who really, really has a mental health issue. And you have to be diagnosed by hopefully a very good doctor. And it's hard to find good ones. It really is hard to find good ones. But it is being taken more seriously. I know every time I go to my general doctor, she knows I take anxiety and depression meds, so she gives me this mental health questionnaire every time I go to see her for my checkups and stuff. Um, so yeah, but walk it off is basically what we used to get. And if we're not careful, it's gonna keep happening because of the stigma of people using mental health when they really are not having an issue. Everybody gets depressed, everybody gets sad. It's those of us that cannot break out from it, that have chemical imbalances in our brains that cause us to stay in those situations. And we don't realize the coping mechanisms. Like, I know the coping mechanisms, but when I'm depressed, the last thing I'm thinking about is a coping mechanism, right? So those are habits that need to be developed. Like like I said, the stickers. When I find myself going to scratch my face, if I feel the sticker, I catch myself. There are things we can do that help, but it's learning those habits. It's learning to put the stickers on. It's learning, you know what I mean? It's not as easy as some people think that it is. And it's much more difficult to fight the stigmas around mental health than people realize. It's getting better. It is, but we do have a long way to go. I agree. I agree. Um, let's see. Now I've had too much coffee and I can't concentrate. So we were talking about kids, and I did not know that ADHD and BFRBs had a link of any type. But I thought that that was very interesting and important fact for us to know. Let's see. The other one, like I said, was a personal story, which I can read if you'd like. And then I also brought up, like, there was an article from last week I wanted to talk about where about skin picking. This is how to stop picking BFRBs. This is from the TLC Foundation, the first article we read. So I think I would like to go over that instead of the personal story. To me, it's interesting, but I don't know if reading it aloud would really be that interesting. So excuse me, let me make sure you guys can see this, which I did not. Picture in picture. Oh, present. Share screen. Here we go. Okay. There we are. So we're going to talk about how to stop. Okay. And this is, I haven't read this yet, so let's see what we got. Occasionally picking at cuticles, acne, scabs, calluses, and other skin irregularities is a very common human behavior. If it wasn't so common, that Dr. Pimple Popper would not be so popular. And by the way, I cannot watch that show. I cannot watch that show. It grosses me out to no end. Yeah, I can't watch it. But that's very popular because it's not uncommon for people to do that. Now, the extent with which they do that, so let's see. However, research indicates that approximately 2 to 5% of the population, and there in Vita, that's 2 to 5% of the population, which includes children, adults, teenagers, noticeable picks the skin to the extent that it causes noticeable tissue damage and marked distress or impairment of daily functioning. Individuals who experience skin picking touch, rub, scratch, pick at, or dig into their skin in an attempt to improve imperfections, remove rough patches and scabs, or smooth areas. The behavior typically begins in early adolescence, although skin picking disorder can begin at an early age. Now, also like the last article that we read, it can also be unconscious. It's not always trying to fix what you look like. Um, Sometimes it's just let's put that back there. Sometimes it's something you do unconsciously. Like I said, it's a bad coping mechanism for my anxiety. So I think that was kind of general. The other article we read expounded on it a little bit more. But I want to get to the stopping part, how to stop it, because I really don't think there is a way to stop. Oh, we did read this last time. Uh, the diagnostic criteria. Due to the nature, it is important to consider whether the behavior is characteristic or whether it's better accounted for by another psychiatric disorder. My dermatillomania story, medical complications. No, we did read this last time. It doesn't really show you how to, it doesn't really tell you how to. Impacts and effects, signs and symptoms. Yeah, I think it was mislabeled. So find support, donate. The article was called How to Stop Skin Picking, and that is not what this is about. So okay. Okay. So another way to deal with these things are what we talked about before was the skin picking me is a uh, is a group um, is a peer group where you can go to Cleveland Clinic, WebMD, Harvard. Why when I put that in there doesn't her Lauren, why doesn't that come up? Pickingme.org. So I did join the email here, and she should be at the top of the list. That's where she should be. Because it's a peer group where you can talk to other people, post your stories, um, contact us. I already did that part. Donate, press room, shop. They do. That's the first place you could get fidget toys that I recall. Before they were popular, you couldn't find them everywhere, but they did have them. It says initiatives. Drawing with dermatillomania with derma. What's with your skin? Picking me poetry. Picking Me Pledge. And these are things that you just, let me see if you're on here. StreamYard. Yeah. These are aids to help you to express yourself through your BFRB, through your any type of BFRB you have. So they have a poetry where you can write a poetry and post it. And you have a group of people on here that will comment and things like that. It's a very positive place to be. There's a pledge you can sign to show your intent. Let's see what other, that was the pledge. Picking Me Pledge, Drawing with Derma. Now this is another aid where you just download whatever it is. And since especially children have difficulty talk about it, you can draw and then also post your creations of how you feel about it, what it feels like to you, what your other things that so these are aids. She provides aids, ways to deal with it. What's with your skin? This one is to destigmatize the idea of bad skin and spark the conversation. Um, the stickers, grab stickers, whatever you can think of. What's with your skin? This is to start a conversation just among peers and people. She's very positive. I have to tell you, I really enjoy because you can see that, and it's definitely geared towards younger folks there. Picking Me Poetry. Um, you can post poetry and using the hashtags, poems from the community, submit your poem. And then this last one, Fiddle Pack Project. Now, this is awesome because she gives these initiatives. Come on now. Donates these Fiddle Pack Project. Our fiddle packs are more than just a bag of fidgets. Each contains the various sensory items to help promote finger energy off the body. Okay. Each pack contains, and then the difference between fiddle packs and fidget sellers, that we also include a list of tips and suggestions to use each fidget. You can purchase them, but she also donates one. Okay, the best way, every one we sell, we donate one. We've sold over 1450 in 71 cities, 13 countries. And how many have they donated? So for every one you buy, they donate one. I know that they go to schools and give these out as well. So yeah, our water is filled with spring water. Oh no. I prefer distilled one. I'm guessing you do too. Oh, yay. Oh, you're yay. Our water is filled with spring water. Okay. Okay. I do prefer the distilled, but I know a lot of people like spring water. See, in Michigan, oh, it is a good water. Okay, that's good. Because in Michigan, spring water has a lot of sulfur in it in our state, and it is not delicious. So I know a lot of places don't have the sulfur in the water like we do. So yeah, just not a big fan of it. So so yes, it's a great place to donate. Is it a .org? I think it is a .org. Pickingme.org, yes. So they are a nonprofit. They do accept donations, but she's just really a positive force in the battle for this. Because scarring is a big thing for young people. It really is. Let's see. We have a big cistern downstairs that brings water up to the cabin. Okay. Did I finish? Nope, I did not. I'm gonna have some water here too. I'm at Bosco's now. I'll keep you playing, but don't know if I can talk, Olivia. No worries, Jamie. No worries. Um, let's see. I'm not sure what else to talk about, but I really got through my point across basically at what I was talking about today. So under the umbrella of BFRBs, we're going to explore. I think we're going to do nail biting next week, and everyone else has regular water systems. We prefer it this way. Okay, that's great, Wilma. I'm glad that's working out for you. Um, So the nail biting, the hair pulling, and then we may go to the bigger OCD umbrella with what Jamie and Joe were talking about with the counting and the um I know that people with severe OCD are sometimes really germs. They really have issues with germs too. My anxiety is way down since being back here. Oh, Wilma, that is great. That is so good. I'm glad that your anxiety is way down. It's wonderful. You know, family can really help. Family can really help a lot. Especially people who've known you when you're going through all these things. You don't have to re-express, re-explain a lot of stuff or educate somebody. You know, you've already been through it with them and they know what's going on. Very relaxing. Mm. Yeah. So let's see. The church helps a lot. Oh, that's great, Uma. That's great. Anything we can do, to just feel better, feel at peace, I think is awesome. Yeah. And it may be church. It could be church and several things. It could be prayer. It could be um, some of the other terms that we use. Um, it could be, like I said, talking with someone who's going through the same things you're going through, peer assistance. I don't have anyone back, none I can talk to, no friends. Okay. At your other, where you live, I think it's Pennsylvania, right? Yeah. That makes it very difficult. And like you said, a lot of them don't have phones, so you can't just pick it up and call them. So that's difficult as well. I'm not even cathartic, but they accept me anyway. That's awesome. If you guys have any other questions about BFRBs or there's anything you want to discuss, it doesn't have to be a BFRB, but I have my list here. And I'm kind of going by that as well. So next week it's going to be nail biting and BFRBs, and we'll talk about how it affects adults and children and the proper name. We'll figure out how to pronounce that because it's a big one. Onychophagia. So I know I said it wrong, so I'm going to figure out how to say it right. Yeah, I wish I had more. That one article that I got was just it was a story, someone who has skin picking disorder, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it when I read it. So yeah. So today is the BFRB chat, talk about where it falls in line, what it is, and what we can learn from it. Even if you don't have one, just I think knowledge is very important. Buddy has to potty, so I need to take him outside. I'll be back if you're still here. All right, Joe. Any food that should be avoided by patients? No, I think this one is totally this one is not food related unless you break out from a certain food, and then that would cause you to pick at your rash or whatever. So anything that would make you break out, I would stay away from. Um I don't I don't exclude any foods because of it. Like if I'm allergic to something, I do, because then I'll break out in hives. And you don't want that because then you can scratch at those too. But I would say if you're a person who has something that actually breaks you out, causes you to have pimples or rashes or anything like that, and definitely um, sun damage, try and avoid that as well. So Wilma says sweets are bad, but they're so good, Wilma, so good. Um, let's see. So we have 10 more minutes. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about because I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. But yeah, the food thing, I've heard people say that like chocolate can break you out. That's not what happens to me. If I put something on my skin that doesn't agree with it, I will break out. That's how I break out. It's not from something I eat, but my skin is different than your skin. So there could be foods that cause you to break out. I did not yet. We're taking it tomorrow. Wilma, thank you for asking. We're taking it tomorrow, and that is kind of a stressor as well, not having a vehicle. We only have one car, and my husband goes to work every day. Now, I could get the car from him if I would get my behind up, but I'm not that motivated to get it. And so I've been doing a lot of work around the house. But no, not yet. We're taking it in tomorrow. They're going to look at it Friday. And then we have to see what the cost will be. So we are praying for a good outcome and not too much money. And that's where we're at right now with that. So, yeah. Yeah. And we're by the end of the month, we do have an offer in for our house. So that's going well. I haven't heard that the mortgage company declined it. So I think that they're going to accept this last offer here because we're in the home stretch. By the end of the month, that's when we have to sell it by. And or else they'll take possession of it. But if we can get it sold, that's the best case scenario for everyone and the house. So my husband over 1,000 on our truck just to come here safely. Yeah. Yeah. But I have to tell you, woman, and I'm not sure your situation, my vehicles are paid off. So I am not a person, and especially with the way things are going now with vehicles being so expensive. I had thought about getting a new vehicle before COVID, but since all the vehicle prices have gone up, the interest rates are going up, things like that, we decided just to stick with our cars and pay for them, pay for the repairs because we still pay insurance, but we don't have a car payment monthly. So, but it seems like instead of one repair coming and you fix it and you're cool, seems like more than one repair comes at a time. Both are paid off, and we bought cabin and house straight out. Oh, awesome, Wilma. Awesome. Yeah. So even though you spend that money, remember that that's like 2 car payments. So in this day and age, it really is. So we are we're okay with it. We're just, we're like, I just hope it doesn't cost all of our savings. So, yeah, my cat is hitting my fingers. Ah, those Kit Kats do that. Yeah, my cats, they're not in here right now, but they were in here. You know what? My cat likes to get on me before the live starts so nobody can see him. And so, yeah, he's just in the other room chilling, I suppose. 3 cats with you? Yeah, I still just have my 2. They're not in here today, though. They're enjoying this weather in Michigan. We're in the 60s, high 60s today, and they're either napping or they're outside in their catio, hanging out, enjoying the weather. And there's lots of little crickets running around, so I know they like to catch those. Mine is always with me, some with him, mostly me. Yeah. Yeah, we love our kitties, don't we, Wilma? Yeah. Let's see. Okay. So we got 7 minutes left. But yeah, I wanted to take it to this particular shop that has a very good reputation. I didn't want to just take it to anybody. So I had to wait for an appointment, which is fine. And like I said, we drop it off tomorrow. They're gonna look at it Friday. I am that crazy cat lady too. Me too. I love them. I love my kitties. And yeah, so it's a good reputable shop. And so that's what makes me think that it's not gonna be like a cheap job, which is okay because I would rather have it done right than done cheap. So I have answered you on Instagram. Will you be able to revert? Yes, I will be able to as soon as we're done. I will because I got my phone right here and I do want to take care of that today because we got to figure out where to get the gift card from. That's going to be the issue. I usually send an Amazon one, but I think for you, it would have to be like an Amazon India or whichever site you order from. Or if you have a site that does do digital gift cards that I can log on to and just send you one from there, like a place you like to shop that will do the gift cards. Like AOA Studios ships internationally, but they don't do digital gift cards. Unfortunately, Amazon USA will be. Oh, it will be fine. Okay, great. Okay. One lady up the street has about 5 cats outside, and I'm sure more inside. Woo. Yeah. Now, at our old house, we had the 2 cats inside, but we had feral cats that we had spayed and neutered that were in our yard. That's where my 2 guys came from before we got them spayed and neutered. The reason we started getting them spayed and neutered is because they started having kittens in my shed. So these guys came from a second litter, and we had a cat rescue come out because they heard there were lots of cats in the neighborhood. And that was when I fostered. That was a couple years ago when I fostered. Once, as long as my health is well this season, next spring I plan on fostering, but I still have a lot of stuff to donate or get rid of. Me too, and Vita, they have great attitudes. Mind you, they're lovey, but then they're like, I'm done. And I'm the same way. I want to snuggle for a little bit and then I don't want to snuggle anymore. So we get along just great. And I have one cat who's really lovey, and I have the other one who's really playful. Oh yeah, I love all animals basically, Wilma. I love them all, but cats are my favorite right now. We still want to get I know I didn't tell you guys, but my last puppy, um Lily, we did have to put her down. We just did that a few weeks ago. That's why I didn't talk about it because I wasn't ready to talk about it. But we had to put her down, and so now it's just the cats. We do want to get a puppy, a little Chi when we can, but we want to rescue him or her. We don't want to go to a breeder. So, we'll start looking. We're not in a hurry. And so we're dogless right now, but we loved our dogs as well, too. It was hard to do, but she was 16. So she lived a good long life with us. And that's, nature. That's how it goes. So, um, yeah, so I didn't tell anybody till today, except family and friends. And anyways, I remember when we had to put Wilma down. Yes, I remember you told me that. That's why you dedicated your name to her. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And it's a hard thing to do. It really is. It really is hard to take them to the vet and then to hear the vet say, yeah, that's it. Because there still was hope. Even when we took her in and she wasn't doing that well, there was still hope. Like, oh, she just has a little bit of this or a little bit of that. She's going to be fine. And that did not happen. So, yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. Oh, she was 13. All right. Well, so she did live a nice long life with you. My animals live long time. Like I would say my first cat was 12 years. My puppy, my first Chi was 15. Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about that. Stomach tumor growing rapidly. Yeah. Yeah. Because we can barely afford our own insurance and medical bills. It's very difficult, especially when you're on disability or a limited income um to have to take care of that kind of stuff for your cat. Now, I understand if you're Now, our pets are our babies as well. We just are not financially able to do that. So, her brother is 16 this weekend. Awesome. Our um our second cat, she just passed away last year before we moved, and she was 22. Yeah, she was 22. And then Rue was, how old was Rue? We had him for a while. I think he was 8 or 9, but he was a rescue, so they thought he was 5, but they didn't really know. So they said he was 8 or 9, but I think he was older than that because his spine was fused. And so I think he was, either it was his breed or he was older than that. So he ended up, yeah, we had to put him down last year. And then Lily was 16 this year. She would have been 17 this month. So she was almost 17. And she just had a lot of medical issues, and we could afford it, but it was so massive. Yeah, we could not afford, I mean, they didn't even offer other treatments either, just that it was time. She was in very bad health, and we were just hanging on, and we knew it could be that. We knew that. And so when we went in there, we were prepared either way. Her stomach was bigger than her little body. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that may have not have been able to be taken care of then. So, yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming today. I had a great time. And let's see. I will see everybody next week, and we will talk more. And I hope you guys have a great week. So I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.